Alright, so this is a review for the 2 quizzes you're going to be taking this week. The quizzes are going to be over congruence, rigid motions, and triangle congruence shortcuts. Number 1. Show that polygons are congruent by identifying all congruent corresponding parts. Then, write a congruence statement. So I see 2 triangles, and they've kind of helped us out by already putting the markings on the sides and the angles. So all we have to do is match the symbols in each of the 2 triangles. So I'm going to bring out my colors, and I'm going to match up the angles first. Now, in this triangle right here, we have angle X, and angle X is congruent to angle R. So angle X is congruent to angle R. Angle Y matches up with angle S. So angle Y is congruent to angle S. And last but not least, we have angle Z is congruent to angle Z. Okay. Now I'm going to match up the sides, the corresponding sides in both the triangles. First, I'm going to do side YX, and side YX is congruent to side SR. Side YZ is congruent to side SZ, and side ZX is congruent to side ZR. Okay. Now by listing these 6 congruency statements, I can definitely say that triangle YXZ is congruent to triangle SRZ. Alright, question 2. In the figure, triangle LMN is congruent to triangle QRS. So I've already gone through and I've matched up my angles. Remember, order matters, so L is congruent to Q, M is congruent to R, and N is congruent to S. So I wrote those 3 congruency statements right there. And what we need to do is we need to find the value for X and the value for Y. So we're going to do some algebra. Now, they gave us angle R and they gave us angle M. And our congruency statement right here says that angle M is congruent to angle R. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that congruency statement down. Alright, so angle M is congruent to Y plus 10, and they gave us that right there. Angle R is congruent to 2Y minus 40. Alright, so we're going to have to do some balancing. So first, I want to subtract Y from both sides. And that's going to cancel out, and we're left with 10 on the left of the equal sign. And on the right, we're going to be left with Y minus 40. Remember, the goal of doing this is to isolate or get the variable all by itself. And so we're going to add 40 to both sides. That's canceled out. And we're left with 10 plus 40 is 50. So Y is equal to 50. Okay. Now X. X, we have side RQ, and that one is congruent to side ML. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set that up, and I'm running out of space, so I'm going to go ahead and do this on the back. So we have 2x plus 11 is equal to 3x minus y. So 2x plus 11 is equal to 3x minus 9. I'm going to go ahead and flip it back over and make sure that's actually correct. Yes, it is. Alright, so I'm going to solve this problem. First thing I want to do is I want to subtract 2x from both sides. This cancels out, and I'm left with 11 on the left hand side and x minus 9 on the right. Again, we want to isolate the variable, so we're going to add 9 to both sides. This cancels out, and we get left with 20 is equal to x. Okay, so we found the value for both variables. X is equal to 20 and y is equal to 9. Alright, number 3, algebra. Draw and label a figure to represent the congruent triangles. Then find x and y. So we don't have a picture, we're going to have to draw. So they told us that triangle ABC, I'm going to rewrite this, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So A is congruent to D, B is congruent to E, and C is congruent to F. So let's go ahead and draw our triangles. And remember, they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be a visual for ourselves. So we have A, B, C, and D, E, F. So let's see what information they gave us. So what's given is that AB is congruent to 7, or equal to 7. This is 7 right here. BC is 9. AC is 11 plus x. And DF is congruent to 3x minus 13. DE is congruent to 2y minus 5. So we need to find x and we need to find y. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the bottom parts first. We have 11 plus x is equal to 3x minus 13. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract x from both sides. This is going to cancel out, and I'm left with 11 on the left is equal to 2x minus 13. Now I'm going to add 13 to both sides. That cancels out. We're left with 2x for 24. Now I'm going to divide. That cancels out, and I'm left with x is equal to 12. Alright. Now, we found that x is equal to 12. We still need to find y. Now, they told us that DE is equal to 2y minus 5, and the corresponding side in this triangle is AB, and AB is equal to 7. So, we want to do 2y minus 5 is equal to 7. Add 5 to both sides. That cancels out. We're left with 12 is equal to 2y. Divide both sides by 2. And we get that y is equal to 6. Okay, so we found the value for both of our variables. Alright, so number 4, algebra. Draw and label a figure to represent the congruent triangles. Then find x and y. So again, just like the last one, number 3, we're going to do the exact same thing. We have triangle LMN is congruent to triangle RST. N goes with T, M with S, and L with R. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my triangles. Again, they don't have to be perfect. They're just a model for us to visualize these two congruent triangles. I'm going to label the first one LMN and the second one RST. Alright, so let's look at the information that's given to us. Angle M measures 49 degrees, so that right there, angle L is 49 degrees. Angle M, the measure of angle M is 10y, so that one right there is 10y. The measure of angle S is going to be equal to 70, so S right there is going to be equal to 70 degrees. And last but not least, we have the measure of angle T is equal to 4x plus 9. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. We have to find the value for x and the value for y. So let's do the top ones. Since angle M is congruent to angle S, 10y is equal to 70 degrees. This is pretty simple. It's a one-step equation. So we're going to divide both sides by 10. And we're left with the value of y equals 7. Alright, let's look at x. Now, knowing that this is 70, knowing that M is 70, and that the interior angles of a triangle add up, we want to figure out what N is. So if this is 49 and this is 70, 70 plus 49 is going to give us 119. 180 minus 119. We're going to borrow. 7 minus 1 is 6, 1 minus 1 is 0, 10 minus 9 is 1. So n, right there, this has to be equal to 61. So we have 49, 61, 70. Total 180. Alright, so now that we know the value for n, angle n, 61, angle n, 61 is equal to angle t, congruent to angle t, 4x plus 9. Alright, so we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. These cancel out. 61 minus 9, 52. Ooh, 52, not 57. It's equal to 4x. Now you're going to divide both sides by 4 to isolate the x. This is going to cancel out. And x goes into, 4 goes into 52. 13 times. So x is equal to 13. Alright, the last question I'm going to do for this video is number 5. Number 5, true or false? The statement AB equals CD means that the two segments are congruent. Now I'm going to have to say false. And the reason I'm going to say false is, look at the statement. And I'm going to rewrite the statement big so we can see it. AB is equal to CD. Now this is the equal sign, not the congruency sign. So if this statement wanted to say that these two were congruent, it would have to be AB is congruent to CD. So this is what it should look like.